Hello, my name is Georgia and I am doing an oral history assignment. Today is September 30th and I am interviewing my Papa Donald. Please tell me and explain where and when were you born?
I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, which is in the southern part of the United States, a long time ago.
What languages do you speak?
What languages do I speak? Well, I speak English. Some people, when I came up north, didn't think I spoke English because the southern type of English is sometimes a little bit different than the way people speak up here. But I speak English primarily, a little bit of Spanish.
Have you ever moved or have you always lived in one place?
When I grew up, I always lived in the same place. I lived in the same place, and I didn't start moving until I went to work.
During your childhood, what did you spend your free time doing?
My free time, I spent almost all of my free time playing various sports. We were always out in the street playing football, throwing the football around, or up on my good friend's basketball court playing basketball, or we were over at the school playing baseball. If we weren't doing that, we were riding our bikes somewhere.
What did your parents do?
My mom stayed home. She was a stay-at-home mom, and was a big part of my life. My dad was a real estate agent, and he sold real estate in Atlanta, which in those days was a very growing area, so it was a nice business.
Did your family spend time together?
Yeah, sure, we spent time together. Although I don't remember us spending a whole lot of time always together as a family, but I remember when I was playing sports, I'd look up and my father and my mother were always there watching me play. So that's my main memory, is my parents just watching me play the various activities that I took part in.
When did they spend most of their time together and what did they do?
Well, when we did spend time together, it was like every now and then we'd go to the movies, or I always remember Sunday afternoon dinner. We'd sit down for Sunday afternoon dinner, and my mom would always make fried chicken and corn on the cob and mashed potatoes, and I always remember those Sunday afternoon dinners.
What new inventions do you remember most during your lifetime?
Boy, oh boy. There have been just a lot of new things that happened in the years that I've lived. I guess I'd start with the TV. You know, when I was a real little boy, when I was your age, all I had to listen to was the radio. And you'd listen to programs like The Shadow and things like that. What was it, Flash Gordon and Sam Spade and things like that on the radio. And then all of a sudden, I can't remember exactly how old it was, but a kid on my block got this box in his living room that was about that size, and it had a picture on it. And that was the TV set. And the whole neighborhood, all the neighborhood kids would come gather around that TV set to watch various shows from time to time. So TV was a big deal. The airplane, you know, of course, all of a sudden you didn't have to ride your bicycle, or you didn't have to depend on your car. More and more you could get on an airplane and fly lots of places. First place I flew was to get ready to go to college. But the other big one, the one I really remember that was important to me, was a computer. The computers everywhere. You know, you've got them all in this house. You all have grown up with a computer. I didn't get it until later on in my life, but the computer, I think, has changed the whole way that we live. And that's not counting cell phones and all other kinds of things, but those are the big inventions that I remember. But there are a lot of good changes in the medical field too. That, like when I grew up, kids got polio. Now kids don't get polio anymore. A guy named Salk invented a vaccine that says you don't have polio that twists your legs and makes you unable to walk anymore. So there have been just tremendous advances in medicine that I've seen in my lifetime too.
What was your favorite food growing up?
Do you know what that was?
Pizza?
They didn't have, that's something they didn't have when I was growing up. I'd say my favorite food was corn on the cob. I used to love to eat corn on the cob. Couldn't get enough of it.
What do you remember most about your school experience?
Oh, I guess the thing I remember most are my friends. You know, the kids that I would play with at that time. I remember some teachers that were especially good teachers. But the friends that you've got when you're going through grammar school and then high school, hopefully you have some of those as friends for the rest of your life. And when you have friends that have known you for many, many years, those are wonderful friends to have because they really know you and you really know them.
What type of clothing did you mostly wear as a child?
Well, in those days you didn't have Bermuda shorts like I'm wearing now, even though it was awfully hot in Atlanta in the summertime. But it was mainly blue jeans and t-shirts. That's what we wore. They were almost like a second skin. You get up in the morning, slip on your blue jeans and throw on a t-shirt and you're ready to go.
Who did you admire most growing up and why?
Well, my parents, of course, especially my mom. But there was a man that lived next door to me, Georgia, that was like my second father. His name was Captain Ray Fasu. I'll never forget him. And when he was home, I was always in his house. And he was a retired captain out of the Air Force, actually. And he taught me how to play my first sport, which is a sport you'd probably never guess. And I don't know if you ever played, but he had a court in his backyard that was a badminton court. And so the first thing I had in my hand was a badminton racket that he sawed off for me. And he and I spent many a years, and I kind of grew up on his badminton court. So I remember him a lot. And I remember one other man who was the minister at my church. And he was a terrific individual that, you know, kids have got a lot of energy, and sometimes my energy wasn't always channeled in the right direction. And he was the guy that I could go and talk to, and he would always get me refocused and aimed in the right direction.
What was your favorite game or toy as a child?
I loved all sports. I loved to play baseball, loved to play football, loved to play basketball. Don't remember a favorite toy. If you call a bicycle a toy, that was kind of my favorite toy. I used to ride my bike everywhere.
What kind of music did you listen to growing up?
Well, I really didn't listen to an awful lot of music, you know, when I was your age, for example. But I guess rock and roll is kind of what I remember. I remember those guys, but music was not a big part of my life growing up. It's become a big part of my life now, but I don't remember too much about the music when I was going through grammar school.
Is there anything else I think I should know about your life or how your life has changed since you were a child?
Well, I mean, the great thing when you're a child is, for the most part, I don't know if you'd agree with this, people are looking after you. And then as you kind of transition through college, you're taking on more and more responsibility. And then you get married and you have kids, and then you're responsible for the kids. And so the big change is one from not having a whole lot of responsibility to as you mature through college and on into the second half of your life, you take on more responsibility, and you take great responsibility for your kids, like I know your mom and dad take responsibility for you and Bennett.
Do you have any information about the time you were a child that you think my classmates and teacher might find interesting?
Well, nothing profound. The only thing I would say is be sure you have an awful lot of fun, you know. Enjoy your friends, have a lot of fun with those friends, keep your energies channeled in the right direction, and just get used to enjoying your life and doing the right things.
Thank you, Papa.
You're welcome, Miss Georgia.